Welcome guys, this is Goliath from Civilian Defense Industry, and today we're going to be speaking about my Arsenal SAM7SF. So I will advise you guys, I am not an AK guy, I'm not knowledgeable enough to really go into details about this platform. I acquired this gun on a trade. I traded a 320 Flux Raider for this Arsenal SAM7SF, and I do not regret it. Now with that being said, I have noted a lot of pros and cons of the AK platform, and I will say, compared against an AR-15, it's very apples to oranges, and I honestly cannot answer AR or AK. I think both is a solution. I think they both have their applications, and they both are, at the end of the day, the two best service weapons at the moment, in my opinion. Now, with that being said, what are some things I've done to this Arsenal SAM7SF? I've virtually done nothing to it. The only thing I've done was added a Hollow Sun ARO Evo red dot that I got for free. I wanted to put it on the AK just to see how it performed. Originally, I was going to put an EOTech 552 HWS on the AK on a side mount, but I was starting to look for the side rail mount options like the Arsenal RS Regulate Midwest Industries, and they were all kind of expensive. So luckily, when I got this gun, it already had a Midwest Industries handguard, and I just decided to mount the ARO on the front. I've seen it done a lot by Russians, Ukrainians. I've always thought it was kind of cool and unique to the AK per se. If you look at an AR, most of the optics sit back. They sit back, and that's the only way I could see myself ever running an optic on an AR. But with the AK, thankfully, it's been done by the cool Spetsnaz and whatnot, cool guys in Russia, and it's just socially acceptable for most people to put a red dot in the front. Now, with that being said, the field of view with the red dot sitting up front is kind of amazing. I really learned to like it like that on the AK, so I'm just gonna end up keeping it like that. And at the tip of the weapon is a AK-74 style muzzle brake. From what I've seen, I think all Arsenal SAM7SFs come with the AK-74 muzzle brake, and honestly, that muzzle brake I think mitigates recoil a lot. I mean, I'm not really a big AK guy, but the 7.62, very soft shooting out of that muzzle brake. So I'm very happy about that muzzle brake, and I'm not gonna change it unless I suppress the weapon and I want to add like a QD suppressor or whatnot. But I don't think I'm gonna do that anytime soon. Now, let's move to the stock. SF stands for side folding, hence Arsenal SAM7SF, and this stock is a side folding stock, which is phenomenal. It's a luxury that AKs have, since they are, a piston firearm, not direct impingement, and needing the buffer tube and whatnot. Now, with that being said, of course you could put a side folding option on the AR, but you're gonna have to add aftermarket parts such as the Law Folder Tactical, and I've seen a bunch of Law Folder Tacticals crap out, and I think it's just not the preferred method. I think with the AK, it makes sense. It's piston. There's nothing in the back that affects the operating system, and having it folded for, let's say, SHTF vehicle operations for maneuverability and also storage is a huge plus on the AK platform. So with that being said, I'm very happy with the option. I don't want to get an AK any other way. I think if you have a piston gun, why not have the ability to fold the stock? And I'm very happy, I had the side folding option. I will not in the future buy any fixed stocks, just because I do like this capability. So for me, it's a huge plus. Now, with that being said, what are some cons about this AK? First off, the ammunition is kind of expensive, and we're not living in the golden age of 7.62 by 39, you know, the steel case Tula Wolf ammo from Russia. The AK prices for 7.62 by 39 have gone up, but at the same time, 5.56 AKs have kind of exploded onto the mainstream. Back then, I recall people that had the 5.56 AK, people would always comment on them saying, ew, 5.56 AK. Like, they didn't really appreciate that. But now that the ammo prices of 5.56 are so much more affordable in the United States of America compared to the 7.62 by 39, it makes a lot of sense. Now, with that being said, if you want a 30 cal caliber, then 7.62 by 39 is the way to go. And that round shooting steel, the impact that I've seen that round have on steel is phenomenal. Like, it just makes me that much happier with the platform, seeing that extra oomph to it. And honestly, it's very manageable. The recoil is extremely manageable, and being completely honest, I cannot tell the difference between the AK and 5.56 that much. I've shot shorter AR platforms that have felt punchier than, you know, my 16-inch 7.62 by 39. And the platform is very manageable. The recoil wasn't that bad, so that's an A+ in my books. Now, another con would be the weight of the platform. It's definitely heavier than your standard AR-15. A lot of people say, eat your Wheaties, man up, lift more, and I completely agree. But there gets to a point where it could be inconvenient for a lot of people. And at the end of the day, let's say there's a societal collapse, SHTF, civil war situation. Because right now, current end of January 2026, all these possibilities of civil unrest and potentially having a Bolshevik style revolution within the United States is extremely possible. So what I'm trying to say is, we have to take everything into consideration. And ounces equal pounds, I believe, is the old saying. A lot of people said that was in the military because they're carrying all their gear, and at the end of the day, they're gonna be carrying more important things such as water and food. And would you want your platform to be heavier when in reality you're mostly gonna be not fighting? You're not going to be in a situation where you're going to be just gunning left and right, breaching doors, you know, getting in huge firefights, because you're going to die that way. What's going to happen is you're going to have that weapon, and if something does arise, you'll use it. But you'll tend to try to avoid these problems. You'll tend to try to avoid firefights, because statistically speaking, the more firefights you avoid, you know, the higher possibility of you living. Now, with that being said, is the AK-47 a Minuteman's weapon? I think the AK-47 is a Minuteman weapon, and if I have a group of 10 people and 2 to 3 of them decide on running AKs, I think, you know, we'll be well armed. Now, with that being said, it is inconvenient in America to have an AK as your primary weapon system compared to an AR. Now, with that being said, if you do choose on running the AK over an AR in an SHTF scenario, you're not going to be under gun. Just understand that your platform will have certain limitations, especially when it comes to parts, magazines, ammunition, and all of the above. Now, with that being said, if you get yourself a good AK, I mean, it could last you a lifetime. And I feel like this Arsenal SAM7SF is that. I think it is that good AK that could last you a lifetime. So with that being said, the AK for Minuteman situation, you have to have a good one. Okay, you have to have at minimum a Wasser, Zastava, and all the way up there to some of the Izmash AKs, Arsenals, you know, some of the higher tier AKs, and you know you have a tank of a gun. American AKs like Riley Defense and PSA, even though I like PSA what it stands for, I wouldn't want, you know, the American Minuteman to be running that weapon. I think that it's going to shoot themselves in the foot, because let's be real, PSA does have QC issues. If they have QC issues on their AR, imagine QC issues on the AK. And from what I'm seeing, they're notorious for breaking fire pins and, you know, just having overall QC issues. Okay, cool. I'm not gonna recommend them. Now, with that being said, all AKs are not created equally. Same with AR-15s. But in America nowadays, from what I'm seeing, you could get away with getting a $600-700 AR. Same can't be said with the AK. AKs have gone up in price. Back then, AKs used to be like the cheaper option, but at the moment, it's not like that. So please understand that if you are gonna get yourself a serious AK in 2026, be ready to drop some money. All right. Now, so some other things that I've been thinking about, you know, for the AK in the future is definitely adding something like a Surefire mini turbo. I don't want the Scout Light just because I feel like it will add too much weight and bulk. I think the mini would be perfect for this setup. Potentially adding side rail mount. You know, like I said originally, I did want to add the EOTech, but I think just how it is at the moment, save some weight, save some money, and it's honestly performing well. And let's see how the Holosun does. The Holosun so far is performing great, so I kind of like it. I'm gonna kind of keep it, and it has a gold dot on it, which is cool. It's like a little gold dot. Typically I'm used to red, but that gold, I'm kind of picking it up a lot better than the red itself, so that might be meta. Now, let's get to the serious question. Is the AK worth it in 2026? The answer is yes and no. If you're just set and you want to become an AK guy because you just like the vibes, then yeah, of course it's worth it. Because at the end of the day, you're going to have a lot of fun operating the gun. I'm honestly having a lot of fun just operating the gun. The manual of operations is completely different. It looks way cooler than your standard AR. Maybe because we're just not used to it. We're used to your standard AR-15 manual operations, which are cool. But I feel as an American, running an AK just makes you have a lot of aura, right? And I would say no, because at the end of the day, sometimes it's not always about aura. Sometimes it's about having the most convenient thing. And the most convenient thing is a good AR-15 in America. So with that being said, you decide. And thank you guys for watching this video. If you made it this far, please like, subscribe, share the video as well. And I'm really doing this for the community, and I want to build a community, because without a community, we are nothing. There's going to be no lone wolf in the future. We all have to band together and make sure we're looking after our people's best interest. So thanks again for supporting, and have a good one, guys.